Should we start with Doctor Sleep first, or what?
Yeah,
Sure.
why not?
Cool. Yeah, this
Doctor
one
Sleep,
I
the
actually picked
old
this one this week. I was one of the people that picked this one. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I guess
Wait, did I pick?
Shining.
Who else picked this one?
I think I picked
That
this one
was
as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
don't
seen this
know
one
what my
before?
picks were.
I
Me?
have, yeah, a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Okay. Yeah, it
When it
was on
first
my
came out,
list.
I saw it.
Cool. Yeah,
It was like
missed it
I
in
think my first
theaters.
Mike Flanagan movie, to be honest. Like my first taste of Flanagan, and then I
Yeah,
went and watched, Hill House and all them. So
yeah. I didn't know. I don't think anybody knew his name like when this came out.
right,
Like he wasn't
Yeah,
at
Ken
all
Powder.
big. He had done maybe like Hush. I watched that one
he did.
before, but
Oh
He
yeah.
did Hush, Oculus, and I think Ouija before
it's
this,
like
or
some
Origin.
older, yeah,
Yeah,
Ouija,
classic
oh
horror
shit.
shit.
just ones that you would think like, oh, these are just basic horror.
Mm.
Now I'm
Yeah.
sure after knowing what Flanagan's made of, you're kind of interested to go back and see if he like did something, put
There's
his spin on it.
elevated stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember liking
Well,
Hush a lot.
yeah, Hush was
Right.
that was good when I watched it. Pretty basic, pretty simple, but like decently
Well
executed.
executed.
Kind of strange
Yeah.
though
he does
because
a lot was simple, to be honest.
yeah, but like his stuff
Yeah.
now is like I gotta just fill pages of dialogue, and Hush there's literally like
Yeah.
none. So it's just like an interesting
Yeah.
Yeah,
switch up.
I think he chooses Stephen King is like the perfect novelist for Mike Flanagan, just because I don't know if you guys have ever read Stephen King books, but like there's nothing for the imagination in those books. I mean, he gives you a character, and a side character can just have like pages and pages just describing everything about them.
Mm.
And you know them like they're one of the main characters. So, and I don't know, it's just the level of detail King goes into. I
Like,
appreciate
it's
that
like gross, gross
like that.
details.
Yeah, he's like in
Oh,
their
yeah.
head. Right.
It's great. I love it. So
Mhm.
therefore I love Mike Flanagan, and I'm glad he takes Stephen King's works and brings them to life. So it's really great.
He seems like he has that ability with a lot of different like horror stuff with like Edgar Allan Poe, most
Definitely.
recently with House of Usher too. So he just knows how to do it. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. What do you guys think about this one? I guess it's like the sequel to The Shining. For me, there was a lot of like different expectations in this movie that I'll talk about. But what do you guys think? Out of like enjoyed or what do you think?
What I love about Mike Flanagan with his horror, I guess, is that he can be so like subtle with it. Like I think he's mastered the old person in the corner, but like it's not like a sudden thing. It's just like this lurking figure. So like when they're talking to the girl at the beginning, and then it kind of just you just look up and you see a guy standing there. And it's not like it's like shocking, but it's just chilling,
Mhm.
And he knows how to make it that way, the atmosphere of bringing just bone chilling without a jump scare. So I think he's very successful, and I think that's what I really like about
Or like
his
when the door is
level of
opening
horror.
and like at the beginning when it's young Danny still and like he's like flashing back
Yeah.
to the hotel with
Yeah.
like the hand like coming out of the dark and shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
He's just very
chilling instead
patient
of
with
like
it, and it's
yeah.
not like schlocky
It's
horror.
tasteful.
It's like, yeah. So I really appreciate that. But coming off The Shining, I think he had to do the things that he did towards the end of the movie to pay homage, I guess, to not only Stephen King's Shining, but also Stanley Kubrick's Shining, because the book ends different than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of difficult to kind of
Yeah.
melt those together. So
I was
yeah.
struggling with that like immediately. I was like
Yeah.
trying to latch on to like three different people, not the characters. Like Flanagan's, Kubrick, and King. Those are like three super distinct voices that are like
Right.
yeah. So I was like, what?
They clash
Who
a
is
lot in
talking
the
here?
end.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't really have that problem, and I think it's just because I didn't rewatch The Shining before this.
Mhm.
And I just had more of a Stephen King feel the whole time and I had no Kubrick.
Yeah. I think I
I felt
experienced the
more
same
King
thing.
too.
Yeah, because I mean I haven't read any King, and I mean I haven't seen that much of Mike Flanagan. But I found myself like comparing this to just like the tone of this to that The Outsider series on Hulu,
Mhm.
because it's also very much of like that chilling like kind of this weird mystical aspect to things, mystical monster thing.
grimy.
So
a little
yeah,
bit.
it felt yeah. So it kind of like felt pretty like stable, like one vision to me. But the end, I could see the end like getting a little dicey for sure.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, to me, I understand. I think it's like more King, and then he has the Kubrick stuff like at the beginning and end. Like the beginning is literally like the old Warner Brothers logo, I think, and it's got
Yeah.
like the notes like that you love. It's like,
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
notice that. Like the music is the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I kind
it,
of
like,
thought that was cool.
I don't know. I mean, I've read a couple King books, and I like his writing and I like his style. I like that you can get into the heads and all that stuff. But I find like some of his stuff to just like meander in places that like don't have any like story relevance. I don't know. This movie, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't really like this movie. I thought I'd like it a lot more. It just doesn't hit the notes I wanted it to hit. And I'm not just saying like because I love Kubrick. I like King too. I like it, and I love Flanagan. So it's like I wanted to like it. It just doesn't go anywhere, in my opinion. But
The Mike Flanagan scale, it is, I think, the lowest for me as well. But I mean, I still enjoyed it just because I like moments of, like I said, his patient horror elements that he puts into it. But then towards the end, he kind of had to mix in like he had to stay true to King, while also, people are going to see this movie because it's a sequel to The Shining, and The
Right.
Shining, most people will know who aren't King fans or Kubrick Shining. So it's
there's
just,
a
yeah,
lot.
it's just
A
hard
lot
to,
of like fucking like
You know,
Yeah,
like
for real.
again,
yeah.
I did enjoy this, and I think it was because I didn't go. I went in as a Stephen King movie and not a Kubrick sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
like,
the
I don't
best
know.
way I think you should have gone into it, to be honest, because it really fucks with you. And that's what it's hard, like going in, knowing the book material and then going in to a movie. You gotta have to separate the two. And it's just kind of hard sometimes to do that, I
I
guess.
guess my question is like, to me, the flaws of this almost lie solely on, in my opinion, King, just because the sequel that he wrote is so like not connected in almost any way to the first, which I think King does that. He doesn't give a shit about like writing a like standard sequel where it's like retreading things. It's just completely like, yeah, that dude's 30 years older and he's like living his life now.
I mean, like,
Did you,
I think
is
it's
did you
just.
read Doctor Sleep?
I think it's just
No.
because it's like loosely connected. I
Right.
mean, it's basically not a sequel. It's just like the same character from the first one. You know
Just
what I
don't write
mean?
a
Like,
sequel
Feels
then
more
though,
it's
like
in
because
that
like
world.
it's not like
because like honestly, I was hung up
expanding.
on that a lot too. Like when I first heard about this book being made, like in the early 2000 teens or whatever, I thought it was kind of some bullshit because like it's like a fucking cash grab. It sounds like, but I don't know. I actually did kind of enjoy it. I feel like. I mean, that character had to be like super fucked up after that. I mean, like, so like,
yeah.
And
obviously he's gonna have to overcome some
That's
shit.
the thing
Yeah.
I think the movie kind of didn't really accomplish and get across was it. So the book and the sequel, Doctor Sleep, kind of connects really well with The Shining. The Shining is
Really?
one of my favorite books. So going into Doctor Sleep, I was on that same like, this is some bullshit. Why is he making a sequel? X amount of years later for what seems to be a cash grab. But the trauma that he brings on board to the character, like Danny's character in the book, has so much more depth, and you understand kind of
I
where
mean,
he's coming
I'm
from.
sure.
But and then also not just that, but Abra, her character is so much better in the book, and the importance of her character is so much more relevant and apparent in the book, and it doesn't come across in the movie. And I think that's the weakest link
Yeah,
in her
I
and
also
Danny's
kind of
connection.
agreed. Like,
Just
I feel like
kinda
it kind of
happens
came
in the
out of.
movie.
Yeah, like
Right.
like at the end, like you find out that she's like super strong, or like
Yeah.
it's like not really known until like a ways into the movie, like after they're already like doing shit, that she's like really fucking strong.
Right.
And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of just glossed over. And I feel
Yeah.
like for how old she like of a just person she is, I don't know. I understand that like if you have magic abilities, you're probably going to think about the world in a different way, even if you're a kid. But like I felt like she was just way too mature for her age. like, I don't know, she's still just a kid.
Mhm.
And it's not like she's really experienced that much fucking crazy shit just by having those powers. Not in the same way that Danny did, at least. So, like, I don't know.
It's fair.
That's fair, yeah.
I honestly, I think Ewan McGregor was completely miscast in this movie. If not, this was one of
I
his
kind of think
weakest
so
roles I've
too,
ever
actually.
seen.
I don't know. I just got flashes of Train Spotting in that first when he like wakes up in that fucking house with that chick. I'm just
like you're
whoa.
saying, Alex, I could
also,
tell that there
like-
should be so much depth, but I got like no vulnerability. I was never able to like get into Danny. I never
kind of
saw
agree.
Danny. It was like,
I mean, like,
Right.
Yeah,
I like
fair.
saw like what they were going for, but yeah, I do definitely agree. Like, I feel like his performance did not really carry through, or like just like the writing for his character. I don't know. I feel like he like didn't really show that much remorse even after like he went through the steps or whatever and like became sober and shit. Like,
And that's the thing. Like the first like 100 pages of Doctor Sleep is still young Danny, and he like has the shine, and he talks to is that guy's name Halloran? He talks to him, but he also like learns more about Halloran's family and his ancestry and how the shine kind of got passed down and the trauma that comes with the shine, but the way to cope with it. But then Danny obviously kind of learns that when he's young from that mentor, but then it
he loses it.
translates. Yeah, he doesn't know how to like handle it well because he still has his dad in him where he's an alcoholic and it's kind of in his blood. So like we've mentioned, it's just it doesn't translate well what the shine has in his past with what happened with his dad and his mom at the
Right.
hotel
That's
happened
right.
to him and how it affected him like tremendously. So yeah, it's hard to fit that into even this 2.5 hour long movie, but
Yeah.
you know, it could still be sort of
You could have hit some notes
translated,
better,
you know,
man. I
A
mean,
little better. Yeah.
yeah, it was a pretty slow moving movie for me too. I mean, there were highlights like mostly Rebecca Ferguson. Like that whole
Yeah.
magic cult was cool when they're like vaping kids' spirits or whatever. But
dude, I'm just wondering like how old like they actually were supposed to be.
hundreds to thousands, right? That's what I was getting. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. She was
That
like
old
she
dude.
alluded to the old dude like being
Yeah.
around like Roman time, like ancient
Right,
Roman
it's
times and shit.
empires and shit. Yeah.
that's pretty
That's
cool.
like fucking crazy.
I mean, that's the shit
Yeah.
I love about King is he'll just like have cool stuff
So
like that,
good.
where it's just like,
Yeah.
Actually, because like I was curious, I was gonna ask you, Alex, about this because like in the Dark Tower, I can't remember if people actually did have the shine. I remember in
Yep.
like I think it was the 7th book, they like infiltrated that like facility or something, but I thought they were like psychics. I didn't. Did they have the shine
Well,
or like?
well, the main boy has the shine. Like
Gotcha.
that's how he
'Cause they-
that's how he like connects.
I didn't
and
know if they ever like
finds-
called it that. I just thought he was like
Yeah.
psychic to an extent, but like I didn't know if like that was like actually like magic. But I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
there's-
been like
he-
10, 15 years since I've read those, so like I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking
That's-
about actually
that's-
like rereading them, but
You should. I mean, and like you mentioned, man, that's what's so great about King is like he can do this weird shit and get away with it. Like the Dark Tower series is like
Just
it
wild.
seems low key because not a lot of people talk about it, but it's like one of the greatest fantasy series. It's my favorite fantasy series just because it's so high fantasy where it ties in real world, his world, literally inserts
he's a
himself into the
character, yeah.
series. It's fucking
Man.
amazing.
yeah, I'll just do it.
Oh.
Doesn't give a shit.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked about Rebecca Ferguson's storyline is in the book, those guys are so fucking cool because you have that mysterious thing about them, like how long have they been around, you know,
hmm
and what is this thing that they're doing, this steam as they call it, you know? I don't know. It's very interesting.
Hmm.
And the girl that they recruit in the beginning too, another thing that they didn't translate well is how important her character is to Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, she was
They
like,
have
we
just a
haven't
better
had
connection in the book.
whatever she called her in 30 years or whatever the fuck. But
Right.
Yeah.
Again, you just kind of have to separate yourself, but then looking at the movie by itself, it's lacking in a lot of spots, just as on its own right.
For
So yeah, I
sure.
agree.
fair assessment
I get-
there.
I get the feeling if I read Stephen King, I'd be in the same boat. But this has definitely convinced me to at least look into the Dark Tower series. Like I've always known I wanted to get into Stephen
rules.
King. So yeah, maybe I'll get into those soon.
Should
mean,
I haven't read a good
Flanagan's the
fantasy
guy,
in a
right?
while.
So
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah.
Flanagan's the guy. right? So
Yeah, fuck yeah.
if it gets made, he's the guy that's
Hopefully
going to
he
do it.
makes it.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's in like he's got the grip on it.
Right.
Hopefully it
Yeah.
Hopefully
it
he can
happens.
sell it. Yeah. Another note I had. His name's Carl Lumley. He's the guy who played Halloran, I think, or whatever his name is,
Mhm.
as like the younger or like the version of Halloran that he sees now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a note that like I love so much more like this approach to like trying to get an actor back, where you just have like a good actor who kind of looks the part and is like giving
Right.
it the spirit of the character. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it just serves the story and your product so much more, rather than like this fucking bullshit like CGI, like bring the face back
Right.
onto the guy. Like
Yeah.
just like do it, because that guy, he's in House of Usher and he's a great actor, man. And like you
Yeah.
get the best of both worlds. You get like a great actor and the spirit, instead of just like soulless face put onto like
Algorithm.
actor we don't even
Yeah.
know. You know, like
CGI bullshit.
yeah, like same with like Shelley Duvall, like the character who's playing her.
Yeah.
Character.
I thought she did well.
Yeah, it's, you don't look exactly
Yeah,
the same,
very
but
good.
that's fine, dude. Like
I have a question though. Do you think they put a prosthetic ear on her to make it stick out like Shelley Duvall's?
they might,
Or-
you know,
It,
like-
it kind of looked like it.
yeah. I mean, do these little things. Like obviously they had like a good wardrobe and stuff to add to it to like
Yeah.
sell it, but you don't gotta try that hard, dude. Just do it right. Like have somebody
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, it feels like you're servicing the project more by doing that. Servicing,
Yeah,
I don't
like
know,
with this like
story.
CGI face replacement shit, it's like, who's it for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
For the type of people who would call out, be like, that's not the same actor. Who
Harrison
the fuck is
Ford
that?"
looks old. He should
Yeah.
be doing it. Well, no, then don't make the move. Like these are like the questions that
Yeah,
you should like
right,
trace
right.
back, and then like I
Those are
don't
the
know.
executive decisions that someone made. and-
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, if they look even remotely like them, I mean, it doesn't take you out of
No.
the movie.
Right.
I think that's kind of like with the, I don't know if you watched the Furiosa trailer, but they have, like, I can't think of her name.
Taylor Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, playing young Charlize Theron looks nothing like her.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's like that.
I
kinda
thought that
takes
was, like,
you out of it
weird,
right off the
too.
jump. They just wanted a
Yeah.
big name actress to do it, to make money, to be Furiosa as young. So I don't know.
Hopefully she
That's like,
I can
Yeah.
like kind of see that. You know what I mean? I can like kind of see her as a young. I don't know.
Anya
it depends on how
Taylor-Joy
she
just has a
plays the
very
character.
distinct
I don't
look.
see it at all. I don't know.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
does.
Oh no. Yeah.
But
That's
hopefully
the
she can
thing,
get into
is,
like
like-
Charlize Theron's at least like emotional state, because from what I've
That's
seen
right.
of
If she can do
Taylor
that.
Joy, it's
yeah.
not really her bag, I'd say. But
Pretty cold,
It's not.
pretty-
In the
it's
trailer,
pretty,
it
like
looks
disconnected
very-
and like
yeah.
I don't know.
But so yeah, there's two avenues. You just got to try harder. Is what we're
Trust.
saying.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. This is like the perfect example, because it's like it's not just like trying nothing. It's like in that middle
Right.
area of like trying to capture the look a little bit and like
Yeah.
the vibe,
Right.
but not going full ham and just like deleting faces, you know. So
Yeah.
It's like willing to take a risk rather than rely on CGI.
yeah,
It's like
respect.
dumping money into it.
Yeah. And dude, yeah, you're saving millions of dollars. Like it's better for you in the
Yeah.
long run too. Like other note I had on this, there's like a very washy look throughout the whole movie that I couldn't really get on board for as much as I wanted to. It's like almost
Okay.
everything's
You
like
mean, like,
washed out and
color
soft
wash?
edges.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I guess it's like, is this supposed to be like the shine is like making you blurry or like fuzzy, or I don't know, but like I just don't know why. I just didn't really get the decision, I guess, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it 3 stars. 3 stars, I
Three.
think.
I
Yeah,
give
I
it
landed at about
4.
3.5.
I landed
Give
at
it
3.5 too.
I give it 4 because of Billy. Fucking
Because of who?
Billy. No.
Dude,
Billy, his AA friend that the chick tells him to like kill him.
Yeah, like-
shoot himself.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my
What-
god,
was
so fucking sad.
I was
Yeah.
like, that was the only dude. I was like, I cared
like
for
10
this
minutes
guy.
before that, he's like, I think he's my best friend.
Right,
I'm
right.
just like,
It's
oh my god.
Billy.
Yeah, and then Ewan, like, I don't think Ewan even like processes that. You know, like he
That's
just
what I mean.
know,
I was like,
like,
he has like
what
almost
the
no
fuck?
reaction. He's like, doesn't
Yeah.
like sit there and cry or be like, "What the fuck, Billy?" He's
That's
like, all
that's the
right,
thing that
like,
got me this watch through was not only did he not react to his friend, but Abra, her dad got fucking shanked.
Right?
Dude,
and-
right?
yeah, that's
Like,
true.
that's like also like I think that was like right after I wrote that note about her being like mature for her age because I'm like, dude, her dad just died.
Yeah, she's
She didn't even
handling
fucking
like,
care.
murder,
Like
Whatever.
what the fuck?
Another Tuesday.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Dad, you're silly. Shouldn't have got stabbed.